On August the 10th, around 3,000 rock drillers at the Lonmin mine launched a wildcat strike, demanding better wages. 10 people were killed in 3 days of clashes, including 2 police officers. On August the 16th, police opened fire on the miners, killing 34 and injuring 78. 270 workers were arrested. On August the 23rd, President Jacob Zuma appointed a judge-led inquiry to investigate the shootings. And on August the 30th, state authorities charged all 270 arrested miners with murder under the apartheid-era common purpose rule. But those charges were dropped on September the 2nd after a national outcry. Well, the miners finally agreed to a 22% pay rise and returned to work at the end of September. But 1 year on, a government inquiry into the massacre has stalled and life for the miners is as tough as ever. August the 16th, 2012, the day the small mining community of Marikana was ripped apart. 3,000 mine workers called a wildcat strike over pay and conditions. After nearly a week of unrest, armed police arrive at a hill near the mine. The striking miners were carrying machetes and had refused a request to disarm. What happened next, in full view of television cameras, shocked South Africa and the world. Police opened fire on the miners with automatic weapons. When the dust cleared, 34 had been killed and scores injured. Today, rows of white crosses stand on the site, now known as the Hill of Horror. 1 year on, the government inquiry set up to establish responsibility for the killings drags on with no end in sight.
How can there be even a modicum of healing, of reconciliation, without a full disclosure of how and why this massacre took place? How can there be any reconciliation without the uncovering of the truth? Yet, up to now, we have not heard from the police officer directly involved in the shooting. We are yet to hear from the Lonmin, who successfully sought to cast this labor dispute as a criminal action.
In the shanty towns that surround the Marikana shafts, there are few visible signs of change. Poverty, uncertainty and fear are still a daily reality for mine workers here.
Everybody's scared. Everybody's scared of what just happened now. You start talking, you start doing anything, so you don't know what might happen to you.
Miners and their families are still being killed, not by the police, but by rival union members. On Monday, a local leader of the National Union of Mine Workers was shot outside her home. The crime took place in broad daylight, but witnesses are too scared to speak out. She's the latest victim of a membership turf war that's being waged between the mainstream National Union of Mine Workers and its hardline challenger, the Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union. With the shadow of the Marikana deaths still hanging over them, mining companies and unions are squaring off in another round of bitter bargaining over wages. In January, Lonmin announced new initiatives aimed at improving labour relations and building trust with employees. It has built new housing, helped families pay the costs of funerals for the victims, and set up an education fund. But analysts say the problems of South Africa's mining industry go back to the stark inequalities of the apartheid era, and more lasting solutions are needed.